I see you, man.
Man, it's been fun. So, yeah, I've been doing some of these interviews and having a good time with them. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch any of them or take a
Not
peek.
yet, man. I've been just chilling with the family, man. It's
Oh,
been
I understand. No, that's actually good because other people got some fair warning on how I've structured this. So you don't have that fair warning, which makes it more
nope.
fun.
I have none.
So, basically, been going in here and doing this, throw my little spiel on there and then do the questions. But, it's a little rapid fire question, a little bit of sleight of hand and some fun stuff that go along with it. But, I throw in some crap talking along with the questions, basically in the form of questions. And
Oh, geez.
so there's some fun in there at the same time. But I try to do everybody's team separate, right? So everybody, I've gone over your team and your roster, and I think yours was probably today that I did the questions, if not yesterday. So they're probably pretty accurate. A couple guys were a couple of days between, so they made some trades, and it was a few things I didn't have in there, but overall, that's the basic idea of it. But I was a little more a little more attack oriented with this one because I want, you got to pick a rival. And I was like, I want to be Dwight's rival if he'll let me. I mean, it's a Devy league. Like, I want a challenge, man. And I know if somebody going to give me a challenge in the Devy front, you're going to kill me. So let's do it. Right.
I guess we'll see. It says the League of Sharks, man. I don't feel like I have an upper hand on anybody in this league, man. It's crazy.
So
the first one I screwed up so bad. Like, I was happy to get into the dispersal draft at the end of the year, and my team's like 10 times better than what it was. Right. I have this thing where I do really well drafting teams, and I tend to screw them up slowly throughout the seasons. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I've got pretty good luck with roster organization, and I can usually draft well, do okay on the waiver wire. But I am the worst start-sit decision maker there possibly could be in the history of ever. Like, I mean, if it's a 50-50 coin flip, I'm going to be wrong 3/4 of the time. Like, it should not be statistically possible, but I will mess it up. I will pick the wrong guy. Right. But usually as far as building the roster, I do pretty good at getting studs and good players and finding value. Really, that's what I try to look for.
Yeah, I hear you there, man.
All right. I'm going to jump into it. Okay, so this is a little segment I'm calling Direct Indirection. My name is Kyle LaPointe. I'm the host of a fun Dynasty podcast called Dynasty Self-Help. We help you analyze your team, your game, and yourself in an effort to provide you a more rich and fun hobby experience. So today I'm going to examine 10 key aspects of your Shark Tank 2 fantasy football team and follow up that with a question. Please keep in mind that I'm going to be very direct, to the point, and brutally honest, and the questions are not necessarily going to be easy. Is that okay?
Of course.
All right. So before we get into the meat of this potato, I'd like to ask you a few things about you. What's your real life name?
Dwight Peoples.
All right.
In real life. Huh?
In real life, Dwight Peoples. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Well, in fake life, in Shark Tank 2, we all had to choose a name that was no guts, no glory, a daredevil. So what was your chosen name and why?
I was Evel Knievel, man. I was surprised that it was still available. I got in probably 40 or 50. I was probably the 40 or 50th person to choose my name and was surprised that nobody took the most iconic daredevil of all time. I was shocked. I was like,
well,
okay.
I mean, maybe sometimes it's too obvious and everybody thinks somebody's going to take it, so they don't even bother. Yeah, but that's a good one, man. Yeah. Evel Knievel is one of the best. So whereabouts in this world do you live?
Lansing, Michigan area, man. So
nice.
Out in the middle of nowhere. Stuck out here in the middle of nowhere with slow internet, right? And quarantined with my kids, and yeah, it's fun. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, it's been interesting with the quarantine.
Oh yeah,
it's getting everybody. So far, I've done these interviews with people from California, people from Canada, Chicago. What was it over there on the East Coast as well? New Jersey. I mean, we're all over the place, and Australia. So everybody's pretty much in the same boat. This is a worldwide deal. And so we're all affected in somewhat the same way, maybe a little different, a week apart, 2 weeks apart, but it's getting everybody. So, yeah, I actually was born in Mount Clemens, north of Detroit, but we moved down here to Texas when I was 2, so I don't have a lot of memories up there, but I do have a lot of family. So we get up there every now and again, so it's pretty fun.
All right.
But you're in a pretty good beer area of Michigan. I'm a beer guy. So what's your favorite style of beer?
I'm not a huge beer drinker. I do like the style of Blue Moon.
Okay.
So like, I don't know
Belgian
what you'd
wheat?
even classify. Yeah, that's what you'd even classify that as. Yeah. I don't like IPAs pretty much. I think I've tried about 40 and I've liked 2.
Okay.
So I'm not big on the IPA. That's what everybody seems to be pushing toward. Don't get a chance to drink much. I drink 1 every 2 weeks, maybe. So
okay.
I'm not much of a drinker. So.
Totally understandable. Yeah. So, Belgian style wheat beer is typically a little sweeter. You know, your hoppy beers are going to be much more bitter and sometimes intensely bitter. If you like the sweeter beers, you know, there's a lot of really good Belgian styles other than just the wit beer that are very tasty. All right. So final intro question. What is your favorite thing about fantasy hockey?
Hockey? That I don't play it.
All right. Well, that'll work.
No, many years ago I tried it. I just don't follow hockey that closely. Hockey is a sport that I love watching. It's one of the few I actually can watch and not really have any vested interest in. I really enjoy hockey, but I don't know much about it, and I don't know any single player that plays on the Red Wings right now. So,
well, nobody does because they're terrible for the first time in like 2 decades. So,
yeah. So I love watching it, but yeah, I don't know much about it. So.
I had to make the decision to choose between the Stars and the Red Wings back in the late 90s. I just couldn't have 2 loves. I couldn't have 2 teams. I always did until they faced each other in the playoffs so many times. And then it was like, all right, I got to divide. I am a hockey player. I've played hockey since I was about 12 years old. So, it's a lot of fun, but don't have I didn't grow up playing it like a lot of the Michigan folk. And so I'm not that good, but I can play. I can hold my own. It's fun.
Yeah, I do love playing. We used to all gather around and play on frozen lakes and stuff like that, just dinking around. But I was never good at skating. So yeah,
it's a unfortunate detractor from your ability to play the sport. You basically have to learn how to walk again before you can play that one.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now it's time for the hard-hitting analysis and drama-laden questions. Are you ready?
Go, baby.
All right, question number 1. Your linebacker core is strong. You have players on many different teams seemed poised for success. In particular, they have strong names, Quan, Judon, and most namely, Bobby. What was the full name of the linebacker portrayed in the 2000 classic football film?
Bobby Boucher?
That was 1998. This is Gary Bertier or Julius Campbell from Remember the Titans. I'm sorry. Your quarterbacks range from future backups to future retirees. Stafford has consistently provided stats without substance, and Derek Carr drastically underperforms his extended contract. In a Superflex league, it is typical to start 2 quarterbacks. From 1970 through 1983, Michigan State only won 1 game against Michigan. Who was that quarterback?
Good Lord, I have no idea, man.
All right, that would be Ed Smith. Oh. Hold on, I think we're cutting out some audio here. Give me 1 second. All right, you're back. I'm sorry, I lost you right after that response. You said something after I told you the answer to that one, and it cut out.
What's the answer? I didn't hear it.
The answer was Ed Smith. Smith.
Yeah.
And he was, looking at his stats, he was a stud, man. 3-year starter, good player. All right. So you have opted to take Amari Cooper. His skill set is legendary, and he has been a productive professional. He now has a massive and bloated contract for the always amazing Dallas Cowboys. Many players have suffered setbacks or reduction in stats after signing record-high contracts. What company had a slogan, "Don't worry, unless they're strange, your kids will eat them"?
Soylent Green? I have no idea.
No, this was Life Cereal. Yes, an actual advertising campaign said, "Don't worry, unless they're strange, your kids will eat them." This is not a Me Too generation back then.
Man, I would have loved to have been in that meeting to come up with that slogan.
Well, that's the winner. And, which ones got thrown in the trash can and didn't get chosen when that's the winner?
Exactly. Mikey likes it. I don't know. That's the only one I can remember. That's crazy.
All right. On March 8th, You made a trade with Hanson Brothers. Hanson Brothers is looking like a formidable and dangerous opponent. It would appear that it should be regretful that you would have made a trade to make his team even better. On the topic of trades, who was the first woman to lead a British trade union?
Lord, man. I'm glad I had no preparation for this. Margaret Thatcher. I don't know.
Brenda Dean. Brenda Dean would be that answer. Okay.
This is great. I'm trying to mentally prepare for this, and I have no clue. So yeah, this is fun. I phone a friend,
right?
So they can get it wrong for me.
Can I eliminate some people here? Let's do something. No multiple choice. All right. So college players often do not transition from the NCAA ranks to the NFL ranks. It takes a trained eye mixed with data-driven analysis to achieve high hit rates on these players. It is always a positive when these things come together and a successful NFL pro is found. You have 33 players on your roster. Can you name at least one that is a total bust?
At least one that will be a total bust? Oh my God, man. Looks like Kerryon Johnson's going to be at the rate he's going. I don't know.
So that was kind of a trick question. I accept that answer. I would have accepted any player on your roster or all of the players on your roster. Okay, so your tight end position seems to be weakest of all. Many players and many people take a position to focus on other aspects of their team and leave a glaring weakness to address at a later date. You have a tight end who plays for the Raiders and one for the Vikings. If you had a tight end for a different team that loots and plunders, what would his name be?
Cameron Brate.
There you go. Brate or Howard. I would have accepted Howard as well. Okay. So you got that one on the board. All right. You have made sound investments with purchases and sales like turning Juju into $70 after only having invested $209.63 into him a few weeks prior. Buy high, sell low has often been the moniker of many failed Wall Street brokers. In 2013, a movie was made called The Wolf of Wall Street with notable stars. Who was the star of the movie Wall Street?
The movie Wall Street was Michael Douglas.
Nice. All right. You're following it now.
The redirection, yes.
Your team looks like it's coming together, despite looking like you had no plan or hope whatsoever in the first few weeks. You have depth at key positions and can almost start a full roster. Some politicians are known for pivoting when things seem bad and adopting a new stance that was different than their previous position. Who was the person who tape recorded audio of Bill Clinton's oral office sex scandal?
Monica Lewinsky?
That was the one in the office. It was Linda Tripp who recorded it.
Oh,
Linda Tripp.
Gotcha.
All right. Anthony Miller is short and body catches too often. His route running making him open, but he has to have a quarterback who can throw to him. With all of the changes to the quarterbacks in Chicago, what is the side of field that Trubisky cannot throw to?
I feel like a trick question here. The actual field. He's stuck on the sideline. So,
there was a big scandal where they were saying for a while that Trubisky couldn't throw to his left, like he was.
Right.
They were making fun of him, right? So I would have said left or neither. Neither was also an acceptable answer.
Now it's the whole field, so he's going to be on the sidelines. So.
All right, so you got another one. Score Dwight on that one. All right. For the 10th and final question, you have 33 players now, which is middle high for the current count in this league. You seem to be winning more and more players as days go by. Winning isn't everything, so it is a positive statement for you to remember this season. If you were to listen to your podcast, Devy Happy Hour, what would be your preferred podcast software to do that?
I usually listen on Spotify. So
nice.
I don't know. Okay.
All right. Well, that is incorrect. I would have accepted any answer that you didn't say. So no, I'm going to give you that one. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate your candid and truthful answers and my insightful and hard-hitting analysis.
Thank you. It was fun. That's good stuff, man.
Well, that was fun. I appreciate you joining me. Like I said, I was a little rougher on yours. Some of the other people actually had some questions that they could answer. Yours was tougher, but you still got 4 of them, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I'll take it. All right, man. That's fun. That's cool. I need to get some together and start interviewing some people. Yeah, like I don't know if you heard me. I think you came on a little bit late on the roundtable, but I feel like I'm having trouble getting into fantasy football because I'm home all the time now. Like I do a lot of my fantasy stuff at work. Like I do a lot of my research, my editing videos, my writing, and home is like home. But now I'm
Right.
home all the time. So like I had to write a couple articles for DLF and I'm running really far behind. I got to get them in quick here and I just can't get motivated at home. It's weird. So
I understand it's a little different.
yeah.
So here at my house, you can kind of see where I'm at. It's like this is my brewery per se. We have a little mother-in-law
Gotcha.
suite, so it's detached from the house, and I'm able to go over here. And so for our company, we've had to, we're a construction company, and I had to take our whole office and basically dismiss them, send them all to the house because we couldn't just have tons of people running through that office. So we only had 7 people in the office, but we're now remoting. So everybody's remote, including me, but I'm able to go into this area and get some work done. And it's pretty nice, but man, I've done it before where I've tried to work in the house proper. Just, I'm going to do 2 hours worth of work, 3. That's not even possible, man. I mean, if you're in your safe zone, you got to have a separate and detached spot. So that's the hard thing for people who do work at home is finding that way to make it where you're at work versus where you're at home.
Right. That's what I created. I created this Friday. This is used to be our spare room. We dumped it all out and repainted it. And I set up a spot for me in here and I hooked our old 40-inch screen TV up. So that's like my computer monitor now. So I got this huge monitor.
It's beautiful.
Because at work I got 3 monitors and I kind of, bounce things back and forth. So it's weird coming here. So
are you only on one monitor?
Yeah. So but it's 40-inch now. So I can at least do sections and like it works a little better. And that's how you do work is I'll take calls, and I'll have like a video over here that I'm editing and an article I'm writing over here, and I'll just kind of throughout the day. And it's tough to do that now when I'm here at home. So.
And you said you got 3 kids?
2 at home.
2 at home? Okay.
2 at home, 2 in college.
Oh, wow. You have 4 kids, man. Yeah.
All girls.
Oh, wow. I got 1 girl and that's enough.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Like they're in there watching Frozen 2 for the 600th time this last week. So I'm like,
I like the eye rub immediately following we're watching Frozen 2. Oh.
Like I will gladly go in here and sneak away for a little bit. So.
Well, it's a good thing that we're getting to spend the time with the families. It's fun,
yes,
but
it is awesome.
Somebody sent me a little message on Facebook the other day where a guy was asking, so if you had the option to stay home with your wife and kid through all the day and do all this stuff, or option B, the answer is whatever B is. I don't care. As quick as I can possibly say B.
Yeah, the wife we're starting to test each other a little bit, but thankfully she still has to go to work. Although not thankfully, she works at a hospital. So
oh yeah,
whenever she goes, I'm nervous as hell.
Right.
So, hasn't had too much contact with it yet, but
yeah,
probably soon.
Well, it'll get everywhere pretty quick, and we're all fighting through it. And the good thing is if you're practicing good sanitation, and you're being clean and proper with everything that they're trying to put out there, washing your hands, you're not sneezing on each other, you're just trying to be somewhat okay. It is something where you can only get a little bit of the disease and then it spreads slower, right? So in the brewing industry, it's like propagating yeast. If you want your beer to fully ferment and do well, you want to pitch a really high cell count of yeast so that it propagates quickly. Well, if you only pitch a tiny little bit, it will still ferment, things will happen, but so will other things. And so you don't get the proper thing that you want. So your yeast aren't doing their job. And the idea is we want to try to make it where COVID can't do its job so that your body has a chance to react to it and maybe doesn't hit you as hard.
Yeah.
But crazy stuff, man. But I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed playing against you second, third week in the Battle Royale last year in the second half. That was fun.
I did really bad in that league. So
yeah.
I don't enjoy best ball. I don't know why. I really don't.
Well, that one wasn't best. Was pick your best 8 out of 12, but the players you could pilfer from the other teams that you beat. It was hard. That was really hard.
Right.
We enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And I think John Bosch runs some fun leagues, man.
He does. He runs some crazy ones. So
Keeps everybody on their toes.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. I wish I had a mind, to do some of the things he does, but I don't get very creative. I mean,
Yeah.
I did a superpower league like he has, and then I'm trying to come up with this other new one, and it's taken me forever to get it off the ground. So we'll see. So.
You got to wait for the spark. Sometimes you just need that creative moment.
Exactly. Yep. All right, man. I'm going to get back to the family.
All right.
I'm surprised nobody's come in. All right, bud. Take care.
Hey, take it easy. Appreciate your time.